Wouldn't it be awesome if everyone was our target audience? That we could just get clients from a huge pool of people. If you sell skincare, you might think, well, everyone has skin, so everyone is my target audience. However, if you can focus on a particular segment of those folks with skin, then you are going to do a lot better. So everyone is never your target audience. And really, the more focused you can get and drill down to a specific niche or niche, depending on where you live, how you say that, then that's going to be more powerful. Recently, I've been talking with a friend who does very similar work to me, and we're often bouncing ideas off one another. But she's been talking of late about really the quality of people that she's having the misfortune of interacting with. A lot of folks that want way too much for way too little money. And I understand, times are hard right now. Money is tight, but there's only so much that you can give. There's only so much you can stretch things to help someone out. And I mentioned to her about a previous episode of the podcast where I talk about attracting the clients that you want and reassessing your marketing message to make sure that you're actually talking to those folks. And in that case, it was putting together a red velvet rope policy so that you only let in VIP potential clients. Now, one of my friend's frustrations is that with over 2 decades in the business, people are not respecting that. They're not seeing the value. And it reminded me of a story, and you've probably heard it in various iterations, but I've known it as knowing where to tap. Not really sure who was the first person that wrote this story. Things change. Sometimes it's an old engineer with a hammer, sometimes it's a ship repairman, sometimes it's a handyman, and the pricing changes. But I'll just tell you about the one that I first heard. And this is a story really about effort versus skill. And it's a really good reminder that in many areas that time and outcome aren't always aligned, especially when it's in the design space and the tech space. So the story goes, giant ship, its engines failed. The owners, they tried getting one professional after another to fix the engine, but none of them could work out what the issue actually was. No, none of them could fix it. Then they brought in a man who'd been fixing ships since he was a little tyke. He had a big bag of tools, and when he arrived, he quickly went to work, inspected every part of the engine carefully. As the ship's owners were looking on, just hoping and praying that this guy could be the answer. After looking things over, the old guy, he just opens up his bag, pulls out a little hammer, gently taps on the side of the engine, and instantly it comes to life and it's working. Calmly, he puts his hammer away. His job was done. The engine was fixed. So, a week later, the owners get an invoice from the old man for 10 grand. And they say, what? He hardly did anything. So they wrote to the man, please send us an itemized invoice for your services. Because they're incredulous. They're thinking, what? $10,000 for just tapping? Then, in the mail, they get their invoice, and it says, tapping with a hammer, $2. Knowing where to tap, $9,998. So, the effort is important, but nothing beats experience and knowing where to direct that effort. So, as I was thinking of my friend and her issues, she knows where to tap, but the people that are talking to her, that want to be potential clients, they are not respecting that she knows where to tap. They just want the job done and they want it done cheap. And often those clients end up having multiple goes because they don't understand. They'll have multiple people doing the same job for them and they'll be disappointed in all of them because they're not paying for that expertise. They're using folks that might just be interns or have just started doing graphic design, for example, or they got a degree in marketing. But a degree in marketing and marketing in the real world are two totally different things. So it's the knowing where to tap that is vital. And as you progress in business, you get more experience. Knowing where to tap becomes a lot easier. Sometimes you'll know where to tap with your eyes closed in your sleep, right? So how do we get folks to see our expertise and that we definitely know where to tap, and that answer is going to cost them more than what they probably anticipated? Well, that's where our marketing comes in, giving away a lot of information, a lot of value. Someone's going to very easily discern out of a few different people who's the one that knows what they're talking about. But if you don't put your content out there, how's anybody going to know? How's anybody going to know that they can hire you because you know where to tap? And I often hear folks say, well, if I give away all my good stuff for free, all my knowledge, then my competition's going to steal that. They're going to make money off my back. But the reality is, that's not how it works. Yes, there might be one super driven person that takes something and runs with it. But in general, you can give away your greatest information and be very secure in the fact that, yes, people might have received that information, but they're not acting on it. Very few people do. So I know I'm kind of maybe I'm dipping my feet in a few different pools today. But really the main message, the main thought is just that for your target audience to know how good you are, you have to let them know. And if you condense your target audience into a tighter, smaller group and market to them, you're going to get better results. And out of those folks, when they need somebody to tap in the right place, you're going to be the first person that they think of.